Say, what's cracking, YouTube? It's your boy 16 to life. And I'm back like I'm on a pro violation. Yard down. So before I get into this free game Friday right here today, I like to ask y'all, man, can y'all hit that like button? Can y'all hit that subscribe? And also hit that notification bell. I believe you might have to change your notifications if you have it on personal to all in the event you're not getting all the notifications. Some people say they're not getting notified. And then also, so earlier today or this morning around, I don't know, 7 o'clock, I finally uploaded the video that I was telling y'all about that I had done with Graham, who was the former, white supremacist. So y'all be sure to check that video out, man. It's an extremely good video, man. And we uploaded part 1, and I'll be uploading the rest of the interview in increments, man. So y'all check that out, man. Please be sure to watch those commercials for me, man. That's how I get paid. Like I say, even in the event you don't want to watch them, just mute them, go to the bathroom, go do something while they play, man, So anyway, what I wanted to say, man, is on this free game Friday, man, earlier in the week, I was talking to a friend of mine, and she was saying how her young nephew had got arrested for carrying a weapon. And so now, of course, that potential charge is definitely going to impact, his future, his job, just a whole lot of things in his life, having an arrest record. And the sad part is, depending on, what state we're in or wherever, many of us can probably go down there and apply for a legal permit to carry a concealed weapon. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and it's just like the same way the laws work against us, the laws will work for us if we just happen to, the laws will work for us if we just happen to look into them. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing to hop on the internet nowadays and search and see what are the requirements to have a concealed weapon permit in whatever state that you're in. You know what I'm saying? So we have to use this information. And I think that some of us who are out there in the streets, man, we're so used to growing up. We're so used to growing up, not caring about the law and not looking into the law, but information is power, especially in this day and age, man, where all the information that we need is right at the right at our fingertips, man, basically on this internet type stuff. So, and actually it would also help for a lot of those who are out there committing crimes and breaking the law. You might as well look up too and see how much time whatever crimes you committing is carrying, because knowing you always got to know the opposition, man. You always got to know what you up against. You always got to know what you're facing. And maybe if some of y'all look up and because y'all know what y'all out there doing. So if y'all happen to look up and see how much those crimes carry in your respective states, you might just change your mind, man, because like I said, being locked up, man, is a horrible thing. It's nothing that you can accomplish in prison that you can't accomplish tenfold on the street. By now I'm sure a lot of y'all know my story. I've done 24 years straight in prison, and I just always imagine the things that I could have accomplished had I been free all that time. I feel that I'm a pretty intelligent dude in some aspects, and I felt that I could have just done so much more with my life, you know what I'm saying? And so even though I'm coming out here and I'm doing a little something, and I just feel that it is, you have many, many more times to try and fail when you're free, as opposed to being incarcerated. And so, I also trip on how a lot of people feel that they need a weapon. A lot of people will say that, well, I need a weapon. Everybody in my neighborhood got one. And that's not true, because I'm sure that your mom's probably not carrying a weapon. Your grandma's probably not carrying a weapon. You know what I'm saying? The bus driver, your pastor. So for us to say that everybody is carrying a weapon, we're really making a statement without necessarily giving any deep thought into what we're saying. Maybe everybody you're hanging around with is carrying a weapon due to the type of lifestyle that they're living and due to the type of places that we're frequenting. But I do know this about myself and probably a lot of other people. The more likely you are to have a weapon on you, the more likely you are to use it. And it only takes a split second. It only takes a split second to dictate the rest of your life. If you make the wrong move in a moment of anger, that wrong move, that 30 seconds, 2 minutes might just dictate what happens for the rest of your life, for the next 25, 30 years. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? So of course, getting angry, we all getting angry, but it's being able to control your emotions and what you're going to do in that moment of anger. But I know for me, The reason I was carrying a gun, I was carrying a gun to use it. You know, the same reason you buy a bicycle. You buy a bicycle to ride, so on and so forth. Same reason you buy a vacuum cleaner. And so while that may be, go over some people's heads, and the analogy that I'm trying to use is that you have a gun to use it, man. And especially if you carrying that gun illegally, there's a high chance that when you do use it, by the fact you shouldn't have had it in the first place in the eyes of the law, it's going to be extremely hard getting out of whatever you have got yourself into. But like I say, if you, and this is what I trip on by me being in prison for so long, right? I've seen a lot of different people who were sworn enemies. Maybe this hood and that hood had been killing each other since the late 70s, early 80s. Maybe there might been, many murders on each side. Some of his homeboys had killed some of your homeboys, so on and so forth. But I tripped off of, when I was in prison, I would see a lot of these sworn gangs and enemies basically within feet of each other, walking past each other, not talking, and sometimes even talking, playing basketball together, getting along, working out together, sharing a soda or whatever. So it's just a trip that, I always tripped on, like, wow, man, here we are in these close confined quarters, because in prison, there's only so far that you can go. You know what I'm saying? So you necessarily can't get away from everybody that you may had problems with or beef with on the street. But in prison, we're getting along, for the most part, because it's not on site. People might think that Bloods and Crips, the second they see each other, they rushing each other, or sometimes Crips and Crips, you know what I'm saying, or whoever the gang is, they see each other and they rushing each other. No, it's not like that, man. People are coexisting up in there. So it always took me as ironic, like how people can coexist with a sworn enemy in such a small, confined quarters, but then get free and go to the street and get into it. When you on the street, you have all the freedom in the world to do what you want to do, And sometimes when we return to our old neighborhood, we return and hang with our old friends, regardless of the plans that we may have had and made in prison, we slowly get sucked back up into this type of living and activity and doing these negative type of things that will lead to us returning to prison because, our plans wasn't solid, So you got to continue to try, man. You might not come out here and get no job in the first week or the first month. But then when you look back, then you look around and you find yourself, right back in prison, man. And I remember I heard a dude say one time in prison, which was extremely true. He said, if you continue to do what you've always done, you will continue to get what you've always got. So, if you hanging out on the block, you selling dope, you hanging with the homies, and you didn't went to jail 2-3 times, when you run back out there and get involved in those same experiences, you're going to get what you always got by hanging with those dudes and doing the same thing. So you eventually prison is coming, and that's if you're lucky. You know what I'm saying? You may experience death, and that's just a sad reality of it. A lot of people say that sometimes I come on here and I'm giving dudes information on how to be better criminals, and that's not true. The fact of the matter is, I'm a realist, right? Regardless of how much I come on here and talk, there's always going to be people who are going to be involved in criminal activity for whatever particular reason that they choose to. So, I'm just trying to give people some information on ways that they could possibly move smarter until maybe they possibly decide that lifestyle is no longer good for them. You know what I'm saying? And then we fail to realize, you guys, how these criminal records and stuff, that when we get them, how they affect our career. They are affect our potential jobs and our potential income, and just so many things that we're not thinking of when we're young, man. So those are the things that I'm trying to say. A lot of people ask me, man, well, how can I get away from my environment and what am I and my homies and the lifestyle that I've been living? And I know sometimes it's easier said than done, but sometimes you just gotta venture out. You gotta get away from the norm and what you're used to and go hit other spots, go hit other areas. Sometimes we don't like to leave the particular area that we in because we became comfortable with it. But sometimes you gotta venture out of your comfort zone and you will meet other people and you will have different experiences, man. Experiences that will lead to bigger and better things, because going to prison, y'all, is it's just a horrible thing, man. There is nothing that you can accomplish in prison that you can't accomplish on the streets tenfold. You know what I'm saying? And so, you have action at many more things. And so I'd rather be able to be on the streets and try and fail 20 times than to be in prison and don't you and can't even attempt to try one time. You know, prison stagnates us all in so many ways, y'all. So I'm just hoping that, you know, y'all continue to strive, man. Continue to strive to try to be better. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, this street life ain't no punk, y'all. And you know, I'll be the first one to tell y'all that going to prison is a humongous waste of time, man. And so, you know, we're going to wrap it up right there on my Free Game Friday. You know, hopefully, you know, y'all will stay positive, man, and take a long, hard look at your life, man. And if you living in a manner that could land you in prison or land you in the grave, man, I really say that, you know, think about it, man, and take a big thought process, man, and look into what you're doing and definitely try to change. Like I told y'all too earlier at the start of the video, I uploaded the video that I done with with Graham, the former white supremacist. It's an extremely good video. You know, we talk back and forth. He goes deep into some of the politics of the white race inside of prison, and y'all check that out. You know, I'm gonna be uploading the rest of the video in the increments, y'all. So y'all check it out and tune in, man. Please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, man. It's your boy 16 to life. Y'all already know, man. Resume normal program.